At our father's funeral, when my brother requested Celebration by Kool and the Gang for the closing song, I knew something was wrong. My brother Kevin and I made a pact when we were teenagers, the kind of dark humor only siblings share. We were watching our dad mow the lawn one Saturday afternoon when Kevin said, "When I die, I want them to play Celebration at my funeral." Really confuse everyone. Then he got serious. Actually, if any of us ever play Celebration at a funeral, it means something's really wrong, like emergency level wrong. I asked why we'd need a signal like that, and he shrugged. Weird things happen. If you hear that song at a funeral, you'll know someone needs help. We shook on it and never brought it up again. 20 years later, Dad collapsed at work and got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave him 3 months, maybe 4. Kevin's wife Nicole was a hospice nurse, and when she offered to coordinate Dad's care, my parents were relieved. Nicole set up the hospital bed, created medication schedules, and helped my parents understand the medical terminology. I lived 2 states away and could only visit on weekends, so knowing Nicole was handling everything gave me peace of mind. Dad was still himself at first, still cracking jokes and insisting he'd beat this. Then the pain got worse and the morphine increased. Dad started sleeping more, fading in and out. Nicole said this was normal progression. When Dad died 6 weeks after diagnosis, we were heartbroken but not surprised. The doctor said sometimes it happens faster than expected. At the funeral home, when the director asked about music, Kevin stared at the table for a long moment before saying quietly, "For the closing song, I want Celebration by Kool and the Gang." My heart stopped. Nicole touched his shoulder gently. "Honey, maybe something more traditional? Your father loved classical music." Kevin blinked like he was coming out of a fog. "Yeah, you're right. Whatever you think." But I'd already heard it. The signal. I caught him alone afterward. "Why did you request that song?" He looked exhausted. "I don't know. My brain isn't working right." "Kevin, that was our signal." He stared at me blankly. "What signal?" Something about his empty expression bothered me. I kept thinking about how fast Dad had declined. 6 weeks when they'd said 3 or 4 months. I called the hospice doctor. "Is it normal for pancreatic cancer to progress that quickly?" "It can be. Your father's care was managed appropriately according to the notes I received from his home nurse." I looked through Dad's medication logs at my parents' house. Every dose documented, timed, signed. The morphine had been increased 3 times in the final 2 weeks. Each increase noted with per hospice doctor recommendation. It looked professional and thorough. I texted Kevin asking to talk. Nicole answered his phone. "He's resting. I gave him something to help him sleep." "You gave him something?" "He's having a breakdown and needs medication." "I'm his wife and a medical professional." She hung up. I drove to Kevin's house and didn't bother knocking. Just tried the door. It was unlocked. Kevin was sitting on the couch with unfocused eyes. "Kevin, what did she give you?" He tried to focus. "I don't know. She said it would help." Nicole walked in and stopped when she saw me. "What did you give him?" "Anxiety medication prescribed by his doctor." "Show me the bottle." She pulled out a prescription bottle. Lorazepam. Prescribed to Nicole, not Kevin. "This is your medication. I'm sharing it with my husband who needs it. He requested that song before you started drugging him." Her face changed. "I'm helping him cope. He was trying to tell me something and now you're keeping him quiet." I pulled out my phone with photos of Dad's medication logs. "The morphine increases. Walk me through them." She glanced at the pages. "The hospice doctor approved every increase, but you requested them based on Dad's pain levels. I was there 2 days before he died. He wasn't in severe pain. Pain can be internal. You're not a medical professional. Neither was the hospice doctor who only saw him twice. You were the one reporting his condition." Kevin stirred, struggling to speak through the medication fog. "She told me Dad asked her to help him go faster." Nicole's face went white. "Kevin, don't. Did Dad ask you to speed things up?" I asked. Silence. And her voice, cold and defensive. "Your father was in agony. He begged me to help him. I did what any compassionate nurse would do. You euthanized him. I eased his suffering. He had weeks of pain ahead and he didn't want to live through it. Did he actually ask you, or did you decide for him?" He couldn't speak clearly anymore, but I knew what he wanted. Kevin was crying now. "She told me after. Said Dad wanted it. Made me promise not to tell anyone, but I couldn't stop thinking about whether it was true." My mom's voice came from the doorway. "Richard never asked for that." We all turned. Mom's face was pale. "I was with him every day. He talked about fighting, about seeing Kevin's kids someday. He never asked you to kill him." Nicole's composure shattered. "He would have, if he could have seen how bad it would get. I prevented suffering that hadn't happened yet. You prevented him from saying goodbye, from having 3 more months with his family." My hands shook as I called 911. Nicole didn't try to run, just kept saying, "I helped him," like she was trying to convince herself. Nicole was charged with second-degree murder, and Kevin is in therapy working through the guilt of keeping her secret. In the fog, she kept him in with medication he didn't need. I'm grateful Kevin used our signal even when he wasn't sure why, even when Nicole tried to keep him quiet.